All right, and we're back up in this place, in this piece, like we left something. This is Plunked. What's going on, Christine?
Not much. What's going on? Emilio Bucks.
Oh, just waiting for the kids to start back to school.
Uh,
Just waiting. There come Wednesday, everybody's hitting the door.
yep. Traffic's about to be heavier.
Traffic's
Trains are
about to
about
be
to be louder.
heavy. Yep. Kids about to be sick,
Yep.
and
Yes.
therefore
Yes.
we're about to be sick.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, like even working at the school that first month, so many
Yeah.
people had to miss because they got sick.
Yep.
All the
Yep.
germs return.
So get ready. I'm getting ready. Get my echinacea and
I was about to say, start taking your supplements.
kombucha or something. Get all of that
Ask
going.
Hassan about his apothecary. He'll have all the
All the
herbs and
goods.
spices that you need to
I have to
take.
hit them up. Yeah, because these little ones, they're bringing in these viruses. They bring them home every week.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, serious. Well, thanks to all for joining us this Sunday evening to Plunk. This is the show where we celebrate two teams from the one city of Chicago: White Sox, Cubs, Cubs, White Sox. Let's get right to it. Let's talk some Cubs baseball, Kristen. Your Cubs, your Cubs, your Cubs.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah.
One today.
Yeah. I'm shocked. Hold on. I have to cough. Excuse me. I spent a lot of time outside this weekend, and that always messes me up.
All right.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Especially not me, because I know I complained on here after that one time where they got really close to first place, and then they lost 8 in a row, and then they looked like trash.
Right.
I wouldn't have thought that they would be a game up in the wild card
Yeah.
for the third spot. They're 3 out of the division. I don't think they're gonna do that one, but they can stay in the wild card. And who would have thought? Um, how far they go depends on pitching, which used to be more of a strength than it is right now. I know Hendricks won today against what they play the Royals, but he's been a little suspect. Um, Tyon, you never know which one you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stroman's out till who knows when. Maybe he could
Yeah.
be back by the playoffs. So you're the only one you really count on is Steele. Assad has been good. He has done an admirable job in place of Marcus Stroman, but do you know how he's going to do in the playoffs? I mean, you don't know how anyone's going to do in the playoffs, but does he have the experience and all that? Yeah, I don't know. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know how far they can go because after Steele with Stroman not there, possibly, I don't trust anybody else. And I know Stroman had a rough period, and I think we always thought something might have been wrong with him when he was just like, when they go some sugar to shit like that was like, well, what's happened here? I mean, the downward spiral was just so quick and so bad. But after Steele and Stroman, I didn't really trust anyone else. I know Hendricks had
Mm-hmm.
some good games and some good moments, but I still don't trust him past 4, 5 innings. Um, so how far they can go, they'll have to out hit. I trust Alzale. Um, I'm iffy on other people. They're good, then they're not. I mean, I guess Mark Leiter Jr. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's been okay. Fulmer got better after, but it's going to take so long for his ERA to get down. Um,
Yeah,
yes,
because he was so bad early in the
yes,
in
yes.
the
I mean,
year.
awful.
Like
I
I
was like,
remember he was very bad early
excuse
in the
me.
year.
And then Ross just kept throwing him out there, and then finally they stopped throwing him out there for a minute, and now he's back together. He may have even gotten hurt. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah, Steele's the ace, and then in my mind, Stroman was next. Even through Stroman's rough periods, he and Steele carried this team to even be in the position to run off so many victories.
Do you think they still have a shot without Stroman, like to keep the wild card position?
I think they can keep the wild card position.
Okay.
They'll set up the rotation. Excuse me. Once they are kind of guaranteed for that, they'll set it up to make sure Steele's your first pitcher. Because I'm sure it's how many do they get to? I haven't paid that much attention to baseball playoffs because we haven't had anyone in there. But
what was your question?
How many is it? Just a one and done? What's the wild card format? I can't remember.
Let's find out.
That third person to get to the third person, the third team. Where's Deb? Where's Deb? Stats and reference. Where are you, Debbie?
So do you think we have a question here from Antonio. Do you think we have a strong closer? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I definitely think Alzolay is strong. I'm worried about the setup. But I know Alzolay gave up 2 runs today, but other than that, he has been able to shut the door on everybody, shut the teams down. And I think what helped is that at first it was I'm gonna try you, I'm gonna try you, I'm gonna try you. And he couldn't get consistent. And so he finally was able to consistently close, and he took the spot. Like he's embraced it now. Like he likes the whole thing, the celebration. He likes the pressure. Disregarding today, but you can see that he enjoys that pressure and he's ready for the moment. I think that's what some people were concerned when they were going back and forth, and maybe he had a rough moment. Like, can he stand the pressure? But he's showing now he can, and he likes it. And so to me, that's what you need in a closer. And when his pitch is on, in which lately it has been, like people can't do anything with that. Come out and strike out three batters on like minimal pitches when it's going right. So yeah, I think the closer's strong. I know they're trying Drew Smiley as something. For a while, I thought that Mark Leiter, and he probably still will be good, but I still question if your starter can only go 6. I still am worried about 7, 8. I'm not worried about 9.
I think that's kind of going around the league, like that, with the starters only barely getting to that 6th inning. Like, what do you do with the 7th and 8th? And sometimes even the 6th inning, it gets really tricky right now. And our statistician, Deb, with the info on the wild card series. In the new wild card series, the top 2 division winners in each league receive a bye to the division series, while the lowest seeded division winner and 3 wild card teams will play in this round. A best of 3 series will take place, with the higher seed hosting all 3 games.
You know what? That's why we pay you with all of our admiration. That's all we can afford here on Plunked. Thank you, Debbie.
It was admiration.
Yes,
you're looking
plenty
out.
Of it. Okay, so it's a best of 3. So I can count. I feel as though I can count on Steele for 1 game, and then Hendricks has proven he's done it before on the biggest stage. So while I am not that confident, I think they could win 2 out of 3.
Okay, I think so too.
Yeah,
a short series.
Yeah,
I think they could play with anybody in a short series.
Short series. It's the long series. If you don't have Stroman, that's where they're going to be in trouble.
That's where you're going to suffer.
If they can't get Stroman, like, okay, so now so if you're the Cubs and the Cubs brass, like when you looked it up, it could be a 4 to 6 week injury, this rib cartilage fracture, which is crazy. How do you fracture that? But anyway. And he said it was really scary because after the bullpen and he was cooling down and stretching out, I guess he couldn't breathe anymore. This is what Marcus Stroman said. So it got kind of scary. And that's how they discovered he did that. So let's say if it's 6 weeks since the injury, so you just need the Cubs to get through the first round. He could possibly come back in time if they win the wild card to go into the next. And then I feel a little more comfortable.
Okay.
But I think they can get past the wild card.
Yeah, wild card round. I think so, even without Stroman. What do you think the Cubs, brother Antonio, pitching in, what do you think the Cubs would need to add at the deadline so they can make a deep run? I think at this point there'd only be people that they could
It's
get
the
off of
waivers, right?
the waivers
But if they
list.
could, Antonio, I think they need more arms. I think they need another arm. Yeah, that would be one of the main things to me, because they have Candelario at third. I still say Bellinger needs to just play first.
Yeah.
You keep Talkman in center, and I wasn't even a big Talkman fan, but I mean the proof is proof.
Hey,
When he
hey.
leads off, they have a very good record. So
He hasn't fizzled out like
yeah, I was like,
we kind of thought he'd have fizzled out by now, but he has
right,
not.
I was
Talkman
like,
is
so all
still
right, Talkman is yours. So
oh,
their best lineup. Oh, and then I'll get to one other thing. Their best lineup is when Bellinger's at first, Talkman's in center, Candelario's at third, and then you have Gomes catching. Even though I don't think Gomes can't throw anybody out. So my thing, I believe when Stroman's ready, I think they need to work him out with Amaya. Amaya needs to become Stroman's personal catcher because Stroman also can't hold runners. So Stroman needs a catcher that can possibly throw somebody out.
Okay.
Because they DFA'd Barnhart. And you also remember when Stroman started getting a little bad, he was also pitching to Gomes, but they needed Gomes' offense. Maya can give you that type of offense, and he can give you a better arm to help control the running game. Because you saw the White Sox, they don't really steal against anybody else, but they were just running up a storm with Stroman in the game.
Oh, well, and the Cubs were running up the storm with both of our catchers too.
With Grandal.
Grandal, because he can't throw anybody out either.
I think Horner has like 32 stolen bases. That's crazy.
Horner was going crazy.
I know he was.
He was just prancing in the second. And I was like, all right.
It was just playtime and that. So I really think that that's what they should do when Stroman is ready. Like get him comfortable with Amaya. I know I went all the way around to answering your question, Antonio, but I think an arm. I think they have enough at this point offensively. I can't imagine there be anything else they can add. Like Morel is their DH. That's all he needs to be all the time. Just keep him. His bat must be in the lineup every day. Every game, his bat must be in the lineup. Even if he's 0 for 3, he is a threat. Each time he's up to bat.
And that matters too.
Yes. So So surprisingly, because what was it? Maybe a month ago, my whole attitude was different about this team. And there's still so much to do next year.
Absolutely. But hey, winning just cures
all.
So many ails, all of them.
Seriously, because even when they're winning, you see all the problems in there, but they get that key hits or that key strikeout. Like I forgot which game it was, and it might have been Merriweather. Somebody like had a really good inning. It may have been Lighter, and they helped. They allowed the Cubs to be able to come back with that walk-off home run by Morel. It was the pitching that got out of a bases loaded situation.
Oh, you talking about against the Sox?
Yeah, sure was.
Yeah, we had bases loaded, nobody out.
Yes,
and didn't get anything across. That was. I mean, that was great. Like
that setup.
I'm a Sox fan, but that was what a great ending for.
It was that gave the Cubs a chance to even walk off that game.
Yeah,
when they got out of that inning. So
yeah. So it's the game. The win does more for the Cubs than it could for the Sox. So I'm like, whatever, like whoever won, it's better that the Cubs won, honestly, because I want to see somebody in the postseason. So that's that, and we know who has the shot at that.
It's time for Chicago to be in the postseason.
Absolutely. Antonio asks, who's the Cubs MVP so far? Steele, Swanson, or Bellinger?
Can I have two, Antonio? If I can have two, I go Steele, Belly. If I can only have one, I go Belly because he can impact more games.
I had to say Belly.
Yeah. If I can get an MVP pitcher, Steele.
There you go.
If I can get an MVP position player, Belly.
Yeah.
But if I can only get one Antonio, and you're probably only going to give me one, Bellinger, because he impacts every day, except for when he was hurt. And he got hurt making a spectacular play. So the reemergence of this MVP like Cody Bellinger is crazy.
It's insane.
Crazy.
But you see just what the slight change in scenery and approach and
and I think
changing in the coaching staff.
I thought I heard them say during the broadcast he's put on some weight, which has allowed him to see. I don't always listen to Boo Shiam because he talks so much. And he started talking. I was like, oh, I probably should have paid attention to that because I could have talked about it Sunday. But it was something about like he's maybe 5 to 10 pounds. It's not a lot, but he weighs a little more. And it's allowing him to do something, Bellinger explained. And he works a lot with Dustin Kelly, who found whatever the issue was as the Cubs hitting coach, with his video review and whatever. They found what the problem was. So, like, he's going to be worth a lot of money this year, next year, or off season.
Yeah, he is.
He has played himself. Stroman did as well until he got hurt.
Right.
So the Cubs may be able to bring him back at a more discounted price than originally because of that. But Bellinger's going to cost them some money. And so you wonder if they're going to hold off to see what Ohtani does, which Ohtani can hold the entire league hostage. The entire league that wants to go for it.
And I think he will.
And then in the meantime, other teams are going to pick up the Bellingers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
And then the team that loses out on Ohtani has nobody.
Right.
That's the problem when you wait on that one player. Other teams like, forget that. I know he's not coming here. So let me go get Bellinger. Let me go get this person. And so their team's better.
And hopefully, what are the Cubs doing? Are they chasing Ohtani as well? And then
that's what the rumor is.
And then will Bellinger be available after that? But I mean, even still, they still need a first baseman.
Yes.
Even if they get Ohtani.
One thing I was talking to my father about, and some other people have brought this up, when they look at the stats of when they'll say like, oh, the Cubs made the right decision when you look at Bryant, Rizzo, and Javi. Okay, out of those 3, only one space was actually filled. Rizzo's still better. Right now, you have Cody Bellinger there. But before you put Cody Bellinger there,
Rizzo was still better. Would have been your better option.
First baseman
your best option, yeah.
And before Candelario came over here, Bryant was still better than any third baseman you have. So while their numbers weren't that great, those 2 that you got rid of were still better than what you had. So, like, puffing the chest about, management made a good decision because look at their numbers. They didn't replace either one of those 2. They replaced Javi, but they didn't replace Bryant or Rizzo. Now, if Cody Bellinger stays at first, they replace.
Sure. I guess the upside is they're not locked into any sort of long contract with those guys now.
Maybe. But now they're going to have to get into a long contract with somebody.
Well, yeah, somebody, but somebody who
hopefully they'll be better.
Worth it, like Bellinger. Hopefully,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to re-sign Candelario. I guess it would depend on what he wants. Or they're going to look elsewhere. I just don't know where elsewhere is. So I suggest you sign him. Because third base is going to remain a black hole. Because even at one point, the Cubs moved Bryant off of third base and it was still a black hole. Like they can't keep having.
You guys should trade for Moncada.
That's all right. That's just putting the black hole back. Yeah, he may be a place of defense, but we're still a black hole offensively. I tell you one thing that has to happen, and I haven't given up on Seiya yet. I'm giving him another year because he's coming around now. He's doing well. He's coming around. They are going to have to get more power out of left and right field. They can't do that again. They can't do this again next year.
Right.
You know, Morrell and Bellinger, your best home run hitters, like those corner outfielders. That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And corner infielders.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not supposed to count on Dansby Swanson to be one of your top home run
power guys.
No, that's not
true.
That's not what you're supposed to do. So they had, even though they're doing well enough to get in the playoffs, there's still a lot of work to be done for sustained.
For sure. There's definitely more work to be done. But in the meantime, it's still fun to watch.
Yeah.
I guess we just got to accept that much.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bellinger as the MVP of this team. Honorable mention to Chris Morrell, perhaps. Who would the honorable mention go to? Dansby Swanson or Chris Morrell?
Chris Morrell, to me. Okay. Chris Morrell is the star that the Cubs need.
Right.
Because the Cubs
He's got the Javi Baez juice.
Yes. Because the Cubs are a boring team. But Chris Morrell, even Seiya, they just don't always understand him. But they say he's very playful. He's fun. You can see him in the dugout. He'll do stuff. But everybody else is kind of boring. Nico's boring. It's like, so Morrell is definitely the star the Cubs need, the city needs, the fan base needs.
Absolutely.
He plays with such a joy. Anytime you start getting naked after a home run.
Right. I was like, this guy's really into this. He's really into this. Like,
so, and the fact that he has, as of yesterday, he had as many RBI. He's cute. He is. He has as many RBI as Nico Horner, and he didn't even play all year. He's just behind Patrick Wisdom. Oh my gosh. And he didn't get to play all year with home runs. So, remember I said a long time ago, they said they couldn't find a place for him, as if the DH didn't exist at the beginning of this year.
Right. I thought that was the obvious place for them.
You wasted time and money on Mancini and Hosmer, and you had Morrell here.
Yeah.
So, he's definitely, he does remind you a lot of Javi with his spirit, and that he'll swing at anything.
Yes, he has a Magic Mike moment.
Yes. He'll swing at anything just like Javi. He can drive you crazy in anger, and he can drive you crazy in joy. So, I am a big Chris Morrell fan. I even liked him last year when he showed flashes. That's why I didn't understand how he didn't make this team as DH. But they finally did it, so I won't harp on it anymore. But yeah, he's the
Do you think it was perhaps to get that extra year worth of control over him by not having him on the opening day roster like they did Chris Bryant?
No, Chris Bryant. No, they kept thinking about the fact he wasn't really good at any one spot. They just weren't thinking. I guess they didn't think he hit this many home runs, so would he really be a good DH? Because he'll strike out a lot and all that.
Right.
But he will take a walk. But I just really think they kept thinking they had to put him somewhere. He couldn't just be a DH because he's not, Eric Hosmer and Trey Mancini have more of the DH build and all that kind of stuff. When you think of a DH, you don't think of a thin guy.
Right.
Fun loving, goofy, that type of thing. Like, I think sometimes people think of a DH as a serious, lumbering,
brooding, heavy bat guy.
And so I just really think they couldn't see it. But then once he had to come here and they saw the production, they knew they better not send him back down.
Absolutely.
Yep. So.
All right. Good for Chris Morrell. He's having a great year. He is.
And, it might go down a little next year, but he was pretty good last year. So he can just keep building on this and just work a little bit on being more selective at the plate, but you don't want to take away his aggressiveness.
Right, for sure.
Because I think that might be part of Ian Happ's problem. Maybe. because he's
Yeah,
lost
he's
his
kind of
power.
lost something this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. I know he'll take a walk, but yeah, we really don't want you to walk. You're
Yeah,
not
we
here to
want you to
walk.
swing that thing.
Yes, you
That's
can
what you're
let
supposed to
Nico
do.
walk. We
So
want you to drive in Nico.
let's see how many. Five Cubs are 5 games over 500 right now, which is
Mm.
good in the NL Central and good for a wild card spot. Let's talk about old man Ross, old Rossi. Man, he has been through the ringer. This has been like a crash course in like media affairs and everything, like being a brand new coach and having the Chicago media all up his shit like from day one, and huge vocal fan base that he's gone through. So he's been on the fast track in a lot of ways in his brief managing uh career. So let's ask, like, has the winning changed people's mind about David Ross, or are they just looking at this as just purely the players that are doing this?
He gets some credit. I'm still not a fan of him.
Mm,
No, that's the wrong way to say it. I'm not a fan of him. But he does get some credit because he kept them together enough. I'm sure he put the belief in them that we can turn this around. I think he may, and we've talked about this with some other coaches, like a Matt Nagy.
mhm.
They're great for although we found out he was kind of a jerk, but from what we thought we knew, they're great with the rah-rah. You guys can get this. You got that. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think Ross is still good strategy wise. So I think, and maybe he has great people on his bench that are strategic and can
Mhm.
help him with moves because he still makes questionable moves. He still can be bad at riding the hot hand. As bad as Patrick Wisdom is, but when you let him, this was a little while ago. They let him play. He had like 2 home runs and he didn't play again. Like, this man does nothing else but hit a home run. If he's a little hot, ride it. Just
Right.
ride it. Just ride it. Get what you
Mhm.
can out of it. Sometimes his pitching non-changes are questionable. The Tuckman thing worked out. I think he lucked into that, but I'll give him credit. Maybe he did think, "Oh, this is going to work out. This is going to work out," or someone may have had to tell him, "You better put him in there." So I think he gets credit for keeping their spirits up, uh, making them, keeping them believing in themselves and all that kind of stuff. But strategically, I still question him as a manager.
Mhm.
But I applaud him for getting this team. Weren't they at 1.8 games under to now 5 games over? Because he had to have something to do with it. Managers
Yeah, just at
sometimes get
least
too
showing
much.
up every day.
Right. Managers sometimes get too much credit and too much blame.
Mhm.
But he has done something for this turnaround to happen. So I applaud him for that. But I do still question him as a strategic manager. And so maybe he can continue to be the face of the team as a manager, but always make sure he has those strategic people around surrounding him and that he's willing to listen to people. Like, he's probably hands off with Dustin Kelly and he's working magic with several people. Um, Others may still need some of his help, but he's probably hands off a little bit on the pitching coach. And so maybe that's how he is. Maybe that's what could make him like a good manager. If I hire you or the front office hires you to handle this, I'm just going to step back and let you handle
Mhm.
it.
Let
But
people do their job.
yeah, yeah. So, but I do give him credit because he is part of it. He's done something. So I do give him credit. So David
So
Ross, you have credit from me.
if the Cubs come up short, do not make the playoffs, does Ross come back next year?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
think so.
Mhm. I wouldn't mind them finding someone else. And as bad as I talked about him, the fact that he did get this turnaround with pretty much the same team that was awful at one point, I think he'll get another chance.
I think he definitely deserves. Even if they don't make the playoffs, I think he deserves another year at it.
Yeah, I
Like
think he'll get another chance.
don't Ricky Renteria him.
Now, next year, depending on what the moves the Cubs make, and if they fall short, like if they made some more, we're going for it moves, and they fall short, or
Then
even
he's out of
fall
here.
short in the playoffs or something
Mhm.
like that, then yeah, it'll be over.
Yeah.
Because I think hasn't he been the manager since what 2020?
2020, I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
next year will be his fourth.
Made the playoffs his first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in the bubble. Was not the bubble. That's
No,
NBA.
but yeah,
But it was like the
the
bubble, right?
cardboard fan season.
Yeah, and that's why people question, like, how come it worked that first year with those same players? Like, what happened the second year? And everyone got so bad. Like, you wonder. Something happened. Because I know it was a shorter season, but they made the playoffs.
Right.
And there were still a lot of problems even when they made the playoffs. Like they weren't good situational hitters, all these things that were a problem with that past team. But 2019. So okay, so he'll be on his 5th year next year. Yeah, that 5th year, that's you gotta show. You have to win. Now, if he wins in the playoffs this year, he's probably on an extension.
Sure.
So
And I would think it's deserved.
he'll probably get 3 more years.
I think it's deserved if he wins.
Yeah.
If
If they
he wins
lose,
the series.
yeah. If they and I even think more like, okay, they win the wild card and then they do well but lose in the first round, but they do well, he'll probably get an extension.
How many years does he have left? 1? I should have just looked that up before I asked.
Let's see. Managerial. Where's his contract?
Oh, they said that he's extended. He was extended through the 24 season. So
Okay. So
next year is his last year, and there is a club option for 25.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I think they'll weigh that out. They'll weigh out their decision, not only how the Cubs play, but who's possibly in play for a manager.
Yeah. Just
because,
like when Joe Madden became available, it was like, holy shit. Like,
because at first Renteria was going to be all right. Because they started turning it around a little bit.
Sorry, Ricky.
But then, like, oh, bye, Ricky.
Yeah. Cold.
So, yeah, if the rumors start, and I don't even know which manager out there they would really want like that, like who's coveted like that.
Yeah.
Like Madden was. I don't know who is like that. Like, who really is, the Bochy's, all those people. Who are the new coveted people? That's something maybe we need to look into next, Plunked.
Yeah.
Because will
the
the Sox be like, is Gabe Kapler a wanted guy? I don't know why people want Joe Girardi.
Like, I think Chicago wants Joe Girardi.
Yeah.
Because it's like the Chicago
yeah
thing or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he would do better with a young team. But I don't know if I want him being the one when the team.
Maybe Pedro Grifol will be available.
For the minors?
No, thank you.
I wonder, was he up for any other managerial positions?
Who, Pedro Grifol?
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine he was. Like, what? I don't.
I wonder, you go from Tony La Russa, okay, you're thinking we need the opposite. But you could find an experienced manager who's the opposite. I think
Yeah,
coaching,
exactly. Like
yeah,
they went opposite, like, okay, 70 years of experience, 0 years of experience. Like, no, not that opposite.
I think Pedro would have been a good hire when you tear down a team
Yeah.
because
Not when
now
they
you
were actually still trying to win with this
yes,
team, which they were
yes,
trying to do
yes,
this year.
and depending on who you believe, when these stories come out, maybe you don't bring a rookie coach manager into a team that kind of does what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because you really think they're getting ready to listen to this man?
Yeah. Are we really talking about these guys now?
And this is my transition.
Was this the transition? Oh God.
They wanted
They did win today.
it.
Um they did win today. They have lost. This is their third straight series loss, however. And this is only their second win in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tries. Uh
Yikes.
Sitting at 49 and 75. Or actually, yeah, 49 and 75. That is 15 and a half out of first and 26 games under 500.
Well,
Yeah, you blame and knockout on him. You may. Hey, you should have told him you're supposed to keep your hands up.
man,
He dropped his hands. He dropped his
sure
left.
did. He left himself open for
He
that one.
dropped his left, and
In real time, because remember, I saw you after it. In real time, I was like, did he even get hit that hard? It
right.
wasn't until you see it in slow motion that he really did connect.
Yeah,
Because when that happened in real time, I was like,
he looked like he kind of swiped him a little
yeah,
bit.
that's what it looked like. But once you saw the replays, then you saw his face move a little, like, oh.
Yeah, that was. I don't think we've talked about the Tim
No, we
Anderson
haven't been back
knockout.
since then.
Yeah, that was a gut punch. Just it just epitomizes the season pretty much. Like the guy who was your star, who had such a rough season, tough go at it. So much of it brought on himself, and then to get phantom punched into oblivion like that, uh just not a good look. And now the mother of his new child is talking crazy again,
Again, I'm gonna need her to go sit down.
and
At first it was like, well, Tim, no, you go sit down now.
right, yeah,
Like, you knew you were. See, I don't feel any pity for her either. You knew you were dealing with a married man, so go
yeah,
sit down. You
yeah.
fell for the okey doke when you thought he was getting ready to leave his wife. He had zero intention.
You knew you were dealing with a broken
Exactly,
man in his own way, but
exactly.
she's broken, so she don't know better. No
That's
shit
probably
about
true.
don't know shit about shit. Just
Because that's what she says on social media.
yeah,
Talking about
exactly, exactly, exactly.
like,
Don't
just
know
handle it.
dick about shit.
Yeah,
Just
just it's time for the only adult in that situation seems to be the wife. So it's time for
ooh,
everyone else to become
yeah,
an adult.
yeah.
Like, it's over, you did it, it's done. There's a beautiful baby involved. Let's think about the beautiful child now.
You got knocked out. Just move on.
You're just now beginning to deal with the mental health, and that's
Yeah,
good that you realize that you can't run from anymore. I mean, I did. No one ever found out if it's true or not that Grandal smacked him.
right. Oh, that was an interesting story as
Yeah,
well.
it's like you just getting. I mean, he's just getting beat up from
Slapped
everywhere.
in a hot tub. So
I
we
would just
are we
need
to
to be like,
assume right? That's
yeah, I'm like, Coach, I pulled a hamstring. I need to be on the 6-day IL. I got to get my life in order,
yeah,
and so I can come back next year strong.
yeah, yeah. Well,
And be
now serving his 5-game suspension
mhm.
right now. The Cubs have been. I mean, I'm sorry, the Sox have been very short on players.
What's his name's on paternity leave?
Uh,
Eloy.
Aloy. Uh, what happened to Sevi Zavala? I meant to look up where he was because I noticed he wasn't
Did
available.
he didn't get cut, did he?
That's what I don't think so.
Let's see. Um they didn't bring up the guy. They didn't bring up the one they traded.
Carlos Perez is up, but they
Hmm.
had 3 catchers.
I can't find any news on him not being on.
He's hurt. He's on a rehab assignment.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, not that we like miss him or anything like that, but
So I have a question for Sox fans.
shoot.
We kept saying, me included, there's too much talent on this team. What is wrong? What is wrong? There's too much talent. Did we over evaluate the talent?
I'm going to say yes because
Or overvalue? Sorry, not overvalue.
not
Overvalue.
everybody. It was Aloy's health, um Moncada not playing up to his potential, maybe not being as I don't know how you play so well at one point. Like the talent is there, but just not a hard worker is the word out about Moncada. He's not a very hard worker. So maybe too much talent, whereas he's not working hard enough to kind of refine those things. He looks lost up there at the plate most of the time. Looks like he doesn't care most of the time. I'm not saying he doesn't care. You never really know just because person's body language says one thing, but I mean, I can recall like in the World Baseball Classic when I remember thinking like, oh man, this might be the return of Moncada. Like the body language was there and the smile and he was killing it, and it just didn't pan out. He's had some injuries, battle injuries all year. A bad back is something that is like obviously when you look at Chris Bryant, you know what I mean? Like
And Rizzo.
and Rizzo, like that ruins careers, bad backs, because they never really heal, totally. Um Luis Robert started finally realizing his potential maybe a little too late for this window. Like if we'd have had this Lubob last year, that would have probably put them over to winning the division and making a playoff run. They relied too much on the talent they had and then didn't fill they still had holes though. They had a lot of talent, but they still never got a second baseman.
Yeah, that's right.
And they still never really got a right fielder.
Mm.
They didn't do those things. They should have done that last year. That was their shot. When they came into the season and didn't have a second baseman, and didn't have a right fielder, like a really good right fielder. And then on top of it, Eloy was out injured again. So then he was supposed to play left field last year. So injuries derailed everything. Moncada, Eloy's health, uh, and I think not having the right manager,
And
to
and
bring it
then
together.
they can't seem to unlock Kopech. They can't seem to get what you would think you see pitch like something's wrong. What's wrong?
One minute he looks like he's figured it out, and the next minute he looks like
Yeah.
he shouldn't even be on a roster.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Sometimes he looks that bad, like he should be in AAA. But he's worked himself probably into a middle reliever role at some point coming up.
Didn't Ozzy say try him out as a closer?
I did not hear that. I think that is crazy. I think that is insane because when
Maybe he
Kopech
was
is
talking about him.
bad, he is bad quick. Like giving up 5 runs against Colorado yesterday in the first inning, he's bad quick, and I'm like, he's not a guy I'd want to see as a close middle reliever, maybe, but like a
Mm.
a good 6th, 7th
Mm.
guy. You know what I mean? But
That's why the Sox sent Be the Miracle that autograph picture. That's their donation of Michael Kopech. I was like, what? Couldn't get these
really,
Robert.
he couldn't even get 10.
Right. Kopech. Okay.
All
We
right.
appreciate you, Chicago White Sox.
Wow. Sox cares, huh? That's what you dealt with, right?
Yeah, the White Sox. Yeah, you have to fill
Wow.
out the donation. They used to give us tickets. They haven't given us tickets in a while. We got a Carlos Rodon picture, and he wasn't with the team anymore. They'd be clearing out their closets for Be the Miracle.
Wow.
They'd be like, yeah,
Like,
we'll
here
give
you
you
go.
one.
We got a Dallas Keuchel.
Yes, didn't we get a
shoe.
Dallas Keuchel before too? Yeah.
Did they really?
I think we did get something for Dallas Keuchel once.
Wow. The Sox should start playing their young guys now to see what you have for next year. Yeah, they should. And they kind of are. I mean, Lenyon Sosa, he got to play today, hit a home run today, only because Elvis got thrown out. But
yeah, isn't it time to sit Elvis down?
Yeah,
he's not your future.
Although he was like the best hitter in this series, which doesn't say much. But I'm surprised he's still on the team, to be honest. But I think it's time to let like Sydney mentioned, it's definitely time to let the young guys play, which means showing Elvis the door, let Lenyon Sosa get those reps. I've seen enough of Trace Thompson already.
Hey, it's not good.
No, it's not good. I mean, you might as well let Oscar Colas figure it out.
Well,
You were high on Oscar Colas, and he hasn't really panned out to be what you thought he was going to be this year. So let him play at this point. You're playing with free money. It doesn't matter at this point. So let guys develop. Like Carlos Perez should be catching, like not like I don't want to see Grandal really much anymore. Like what's the point? What are we trying to do here?
Yeah.
Dylan Cease looking like a shell of himself.
Shut him down.
Like
I wonder and there's nothing, at least nothing that we've heard physically wrong. What?
No.
Who's the pitching coach? Does he need to go?
Katz, it might be time for him to go. Speaking of that, Lance Lynn kicking ass out there in LA with the Dodgers. Just helped them win, like, I don't know, their 9th straight or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. Giolito struggling in Anaheim, and
I think, and they're out of it now. They're about to be out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and he did not give them the punch that they were hoping that he could give. He played better. He had a better season here than his stint out in Anaheim so far. So in a case like his, the change in scenery wasn't quite good for him. And the guy's going through a divorce and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Got to give a guy a break, I guess.
And then for it to be like so publicly known.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So.
Well, Do you think anyone
So,
gets traded? Oh, go ahead. I'm
oh
sorry.
no, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you think? Okay, I'm gonna name some people. Hold on, let me make sure I get some names right. You tell me if you think. Excuse me. I am sorry, everyone, for clearing my throat so much. I'm having difficulties.
Let me clear my throat.
Really, that needs to be part of my theme song. Um. Okay, so I'm gonna name some players. You
All right.
tell me if you think they're on the roster next year.
Okay.
Okay.
I like this.
All right. Dylan Cease.
Yes.
Okay. Clevenger.
Yes.
Kopech.
Yes.
Okay. Toussaint. Tukey.
Yes.
Okay. Rondal.
No.
Your Moncada. Moncada. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Benintendi.
He's got one more year left on his. I'm gonna say he may get traded. He's a good hitter.
Okay.
He's worth. He's got value and
Okay.
I don't see him in any kind of long range plans, obviously.
Okay.
So I think that's questionable. I can see him getting moved.
Okay. Sheets.
No.
Okay. And Anderson.
No.
Okay. You're gonna have a Eloy.
Yes.
Okay. Even though they said he's one of the people who doesn't work hard. You can kind of tell he doesn't. He looks like he doesn't.
He looks like he doesn't work hard,
Yeah.
clown.
Yeah, that's it. He looks like he doesn't always take everything as seriously as maybe he should.
Does
You were
not.
talking about something with it might have been Moncada, like having the talent but not putting in the work. And
Yeah.
it might be because while he has talent, he's not as talented as he thinks he is. Because there are some people with an extreme amount of talent, they don't have to work as hard as maybe the mid-level person. And maybe he thinks a little too highly of himself.
That's quite possible.
And he needs to stop. Uh, because do you think with his back problem, do you think there's another position he could play? Could he possibly play first base where it's not a hot corner and maybe there's not as much diving at times?
Are you talking about Moncada?
Moncada, with his back, or with anything else suit him better with his back issues? No, because
I see him just as a as an infielder. I mean, he can move him to the middle, like second. What position would be less strain on him? Maybe second base,
or because you don't think he could ever learn, and you don't really have an outfield spot. Yeah, you got to keep Eloy as the DH because.
Yeah.
Yeah, so never mind. Yeah, I guess it's third or nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know what would help him if a change in position would really help him. Like I don't see him being like he's not a DH candidate.
Yeah, and then you can't because you have Eloy.
You got Eloy and Moncada stinks at the plate. So what are you gonna fit him in?
You need to find a bag
if
of
he's
bats.
gonna stink at the plate, you might as well have his glove at third.
That's true. Or you just get together a bag of bats and balls and him and ship him someplace.
Yeah, right. I think they take the bats and the balls. I don't know about him. I don't know about his contract. We'll take the bats and the balls, but we'll pass on him.
All right. So okay. Oh, one more. Two more. Grafal.
Yes.
And my last one, Rick Hahn.
Yes.
He's getting another chance, huh?
He's got a year left on his contract,
So this.
so he's getting his year.
Okay. Okay.
I've, I, Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't just show people the door and still pay him. That's not usually
That's true.
his.
That's true.
That's not usually his mo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think people above Han and maybe Williams need to go.
Oh, I think all of them need to go. Like I
Even
would,
Williams.
yo, yeah.
Mm.
Everything that you see that happens on the field, it starts at the top.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
that's
why I
that's
like
with everything. You know,
because I I can't imagine Rick Hahn never wanted to make any moves. Remember before last year,
mm-hmm.
we were all confused how they made no moves
Yeah,
to better themselves. It was
mm-hmm.
like, what? You're not going to do anything? And there's all these holes, and it's not like there was anyone ready to take over in
And
any
we
of the
weren't
roles.
running away with anything.
No. And, and we blame Rick Hahn, but clearly someone else isn't letting him do it.
This is possible.
And this is
And so
why,
you look at Kenny
yeah,
Williams, or you look
yeah,
at the owner and how much he's willing
that's,
to spend. It starts at the top, at the tippy top,
yeah,
and
even if they're not,
yeah.
they're not going to sell the team. I know everyone keeps like
They're
selling,
not. Yeah, that's not
but
happening.
they need to allow real base. It's like the Bears. You need to
Just like the
allow
Bears.
real people who know what they're doing run the team.
Yeah,
You can still own it,
you can still sit
and,
up
and
in your
yeah,
box.
and if you trust Kenny Williams to do it, then let him actually do it. But if you don't and you don't trust Rick Hahn, then it's time to go out on a search for someone
Yeah.
who actually knows what they're doing, and will take care of needs when they're there. Like you just you don't pick up anyone in the off season. This is the good year when they were supposed to be good again. Well, that was this year too, but the year before, you don't pick up anyone in the off season. You don't really pick up anyone to trade deadline to fill the holes. Someone's got to go.
Yeah,
I mean, this team is awful.
very much, very awful. Kenny Williams was behind the Jake Burger trade, not Rick Hahn, according to reports.
So see, and then that's the thing. There's too
That
many
doesn't
people
surprise me that Kenny is still pulling strings and not
okay,
letting
then
Rick do his
they
job.
they all need to go. Like too many
Yeah,
people are you either gonna I mean, they wouldn't let the man hire the person he wanted to hire before he brought in Tony La Russa.
right.
And he messes up and he shows maybe why they didn't let him hire someone when they hired
Right,
Tony La
right,
Russa.
right. Well, this is why we didn't want to let him hire.
I'm like, oh, now I get it now.
Right.
But it's
You're
too
an
many
idiot.
people. So you didn't help us up there, Rick. But there's too many, and like, well, maybe Rick was trying to stick it to him. Like, I got you. You wouldn't let me hire last time.
I'm
Take
gonna
this.
hire this
Take this.
buster.
Take Pedro.
He hired a
But
guy from a losing organization like that right
the,
away. You
right.
hire somebody from KC.
They're not even yeah, like they're not even close.
Yeah.
Have a player here or there, but I get to watch them because they were playing the Cubs. Otherwise, I don't really see them. But there's too many hands in the pot.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes. Like Kenny Williams, you always tell people stay out of White Sox business, stay out of Rick Hahn's business.
Yeah.
This is his job.
Rick Hahn's business is my business.
Oh, it shouldn't be.
I can hear him saying that.
Yeah, because your business needs to be closed. Bankroll.
Whoa.
Yeah, you don't know it.
You don't know anything. If I listen to you, I'll be sitting there with you doing a podcast.
Well, come on. Grab a chair, buddy.
Right. You are sticking it to Kenny tonight.
What'd you say?
You are sticking it to Kenny tonight.
Yeah. It's too long. And he might be a good guy, but we don't get to see that. And there's probably reasons why we don't always get to see that. You can't be and you keep throwing out bad product. And I'm not even blaming him for the Jake Burger trade because it's not like he was the savior next year if you brought him back. So I don't really care about that. My problem is, why are you behind anything? Get out of the way, fool. You're not doing well. Your product does nothing well, so get
He's
out the
not doing
way.
it well. Rick Hans, they don't do
They
anything
don't do
on
well.
any
They don't.
level well.
Yeah, they don't work well together. So they all. You're right.
Yeah.
You just convinced me. They all need to go.
They all need to go.
And
Yeah.
I know two people who are available, who maybe aren't the most experienced in the game, but I bet you they can make it work.
Who's that?
Emilio Bucks and Kristen.
Oh, there we go. So we're the GM and
Right.
vice president of operations.
That's right.
All right.
I know I'm a Cubs fan, but we could turn that team around easily.
We can't do any worse at this point.
Exactly.
I mean, I could put together a losing team.
We could run this team just by doing, we could just do surveys.
Right.
So who should play second base? That's how we can pick our people. Who should?
That's all I would do is I'd ask the people around me, like, so what are your thoughts on this? Huh.
And actually listen to people.
Yeah. Because we don't know shit, so we would listen to the people around us and say, like, okay, you think so?
I think everyone involved with the Jerry Reinsdorf team needs to have a Chicago Clubhouse Network where they think they know. They don't know shit.
But they don't know shit. The Jerry Reinsdorf story.
And company. Yeah. The Jerry Reinsdorf story.
They think they know, but they don't know shit. The Jerry Reinsdorf story. That's that.
Yeah, that's it.
And with that being said, I think that is our time.
That was a good note.
That was a good note. That was a good transition to the end. Postseason baseball in Chicago is the goal, and I think we got a good shot at that. Circling back around to the Cubs, and hey, I'm getting on this bandwagon. I'm still White Sox forever, but I want to watch some baseball in October. Some be invested, personally invested in some October, November, hopefully November baseball. All right. Well, with that being said, this is Plunked. This is the show where we discuss two teams, one city of Chicago. I am Emilio Bucks.
I am Kristen.
And we'll catch you all on the next one. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Dev, to Sydney, Antonio, everybody who tuned in and listened to two dumbasses talk about. We're not dumbass. I'm the dumbass, not you, Kristen.
I am too.
Right. Hey, we're a division of Chicago Clubhouse podcast where they think they know what they're talking about, but they don't know shit either. And that's a fact. All right.
Everybody.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.